started. So welcome to my second ever live on YouTube. And today I am making something really yummy that is something that I do every day after work. Not every day, but it's my go-to quick meal. It is a restorative miso mushroom soup. And the thing I like about it is that it was actually just cleaning out my fridge type of soup. Because if you're like me and you get home after a long day, for me, it's after work, I just don't feel like cooking. Even though I enjoy cooking when I have time or when I'm, experimenting with different recipes, I love doing that. But after work, when you're just hungry or when you get home, I just want something quick, but I want it to be healthy. So this is actually what I use when I'm doing my food uniform that I made a video about a few weeks ago. And you can find it there. This is the type of thing I do. I come home and make this pot of soup and then I eat it for the whole week with a few varieties. And this started off as just like cleaning up my fridge soup, and it morphed into this kind of a Asian-inspired soup that I really, really like. And I increased the protein in it by cubing up some tofu into my bowl. And it kind of reminds me of miso soup when you get some Japanese food, because I love that warm broth and those little bits of tofu in there. That's actually what inspired this. So let's get started. I want to find out where you guys are from. I see a couple people watching, so I'm curious. Hello out there. I have a big pot here that I'm gonna try to aim the camera down lower so you can see what I'm doing. But I'm gonna show you, I have a big heavy duty pot, and I'm not gonna use any oil because all I'm gonna do, this is just like pretend I'm coming home from work and I need to eat. I just chop up my veggies, throw them in here, and pretty quick I throw in the broth or whatever I'm using for the liquid. So it starts to simmer and boil right away. So I don't need to use any oil for this at all. So I'm just going to turn on my pot, heat it up. And I will have the recipe. I'll put the whole recipe into the description. But for now, I'm not going to measure. I had to work out kind of exactly what I do when I'm making this type of soup, or for this particular one. So I did try my best to get it as accurate as possible, but it really doesn't matter in a soup how accurate you are with your measurements. I think that's the reason I like cooking versus baking. In baking, it's a science. You have to be pretty careful with the amounts that you use. And with cooking, you can just do whatever you feel like. Oh, hello from Hawaii. Wow. What time of day is it there? This is morning here. It's just after 9. And from Mississippi. Oh my goodness. That's so nice. Thank you for joining me this morning. Well, what time is it over there? But it's okay to make soup any time of day because then you can eat it for the rest of, whenever you feel like it. So I'm just going to put everything into the pot right now. And like I said, I'm not using any oil because I don't need to. I'm chopping up everything tiny because I want to be able to eat quickly and I don't want to wait around. And then the next thing I'm going to do is chop up all my mushrooms. So now, give me a second because I'm going to try to get this camera angle down so you can see what I'm doing. This will be fun because you may see things you don't want to see. Let's see. Oh, there we go. All right. You can see a little bit of what I'm doing. I'm using a few different types of mushrooms here. I'm using just plain brown mushrooms, and I'm also using the shiitake mushrooms. And the other thing I'm going to do, which I haven't done yet, is I've got some dried, they call them forest mushrooms, but I think there's some porcini mushrooms in there. Hang on while I grab that because I think I forgot to pull it out. 1 second. I have used these a lot. If I don't have any mushrooms and I feel like I want to have some mushroom flavor, these dried mushrooms are really good. So I am going to right now grab a few of them. And I'm just gonna, I don't ever measure these out, but I just put a little bit into the any Pyrex or any glass dish and then put some water in there to soak because that'll soften them up. And I already boiled my water. So I'm just gonna put this in here, and then I'm also gonna use this liquid in the soup because that adds another depth of flavor. So while I'm getting everything else ready, I'll just let these guys soak here. And when I have made this when I really make it, when I'm just coming home from work, I use whatever I have in the fridge. And I usually have mushrooms. We really like mushrooms. Finnish people like mushrooms. We forage for them all the time. I've never done that. My husband loves mushrooms because we use them for, for making something for breakfast or scrambler or something. We always use them. So we always tend to have mushrooms in the house. So whatever you're comfortable eating, that's what you put in the soup. Oh, it's really early there, Simone. 7:05, okay. And 11:15 in Mississippi. That's good. With these shiitake mushrooms, they tend to have a bit more, they're chewy, a little bit more denser texture. So I like having it's nice to have a few different textures inside the soup. And then the other one that I really like is king oyster mushrooms. Those almost taste meaty to me. You guys like eating mushrooms? Oh, breakfast soup, yes. Best thing ever. But, the thing is, you can make soup and it just tastes better the longer it sits. So who cares what time you make it, right? And then the next thing, as you can see, I am not measuring. And even though I've added the measurements into the recipe that I'll put at the bottom there, you don't have to follow them. Let's put some carrots in there now. I try not to peel my carrots and my sweet potatoes anymore. I wash them really well because a lot of the nutrients are in the skin. And if you're like for the sweet potatoes, a lot of the fiber in the skin. So I just wash them really well and don't bother with peeling. And these happen to be organic carrots. I just found them in this local store, so I bought those and just scrubbed them really well. This happens also is a Japanese, I think, an Asian sweet potato. So these are really sweet, these purple skinned ones. Have you guys had any of these? My daughter-in-law is Korean. They really love their sweet potatoes. It's a street food over there. I never knew that before, but they cook them up. My grandson just loves to eat a baked sweet potato. He peel it when he's eating it. He peels it, but he just takes it in his hand and eats it like this. And because I want this to cook fast, I'll chop up everything as tiny as I can. So depending on the amount of time you have, you don't have to cut them up so small. I love all types of potatoes. but I have really grown to love sweet potatoes and yams. You guys know the difference between sweet potatoes and yams? The yams, I thought, this reminds me of a sweet potato. Yams, for me, seem to have the orange flesh. And I think for us and, with my mom, we made sweet potatoes, like the white fleshed ones like this. But North America, they seem to be more with the yams. And they are a lot like really orange, yellow, and orange. I thought that it would be a problem eating the skin, but I don't mind it at all. It saves a lot of time, and it doesn't bother me to eat the skin, especially when it's in soups or anything like that. I mean, if I'm making mashed yams, mashed potatoes, of course, then I peel because that's a different consistency. The one thing I'm going to have a problem is showing you what it looks like in the pot, but I will try my best in a sec. So right now I've got the onions, mushrooms, carrot, and sweet potato in there. And the only other thing I have left, now that I'm actually making it for you guys, I worry I'm going to miss something, is cabbage. So, but first I want to put in the liquid. So I always have these veggie cubes on hand because they're great and I find them convenient. So 1 cube is like 2 cups of water. I'm using approximately 6 cups in here. So I'm going to add 1 more to some hot water. And these are just easy. They take up little space and I always have some of those on hand. I have tried the, just like, what is that stuff called? Tastes like, they're the jars that taste like bouillon. Taste like they have all the different flavors, but they have a veggie one. It tastes like chicken with no chicken. No, I can't remember the name of it. They're a little jar with that paste in there. I find they're extremely salty. I made some seitan for a weekend dinner, and the seitan, because I used that type of broth, that paste, it came up very salty because the recipe called for salt too. So you got to watch out for those types of things. I'm going to put the liquid in now. I'm going to add 1 more or 2 more cups. Actually, a little bit more. In a sec, I'm going to try to show you what it looks like. So I use whatever cabbage I have at home in the soup. And this time I happen to have this napa cabbage, and I'm going to add the ginger. I forgot to add the ginger. It's quite a talent these people that cook and talk have, because I find that I get distracted. And when I have people over at Christmas or whenever, and I have to cook, if they're hanging around me in the kitchen, I like it if there's not too many people, but if there's a lot of people, I can get really distracted and forget things, and I don't actually like it that much. A couple of people, that's fine. Usually I keep my ginger in the freezer, and I have a little grater, a planer. My planer is broken, so now I'm doing this. I don't like ginger a lot. I don't like the taste of pickled ginger. I don't like tasting the ginger, like a piece of ginger, but I love what ginger does in the flavor. It heats it up a bit. But I am not a fan of ginger. My husband can eat pickled ginger all the time, but I can't. But ginger is really good for you. Such a good anti-inflammatory. And you know, you can make. I don't mind ginger tea. Isn't that weird? I don't like to eat ginger, but I don't mind ginger tea. Like chopping up cubes of ginger and letting it sit. I actually like that a lot. Then I will just shred up some cabbage and throw it in there. I want that to come to a boil. Most of the time I don't have this type of cabbage. I have just the regular cabbage, red or white. And I put that in and it tastes really, really good. I don't know why I have this one right now, but that's what I'm going to use. This stuff, kelp. So I started using this. Well, first of all, my daughter-in-law always has a lot of seaweed and kelp and stuff in the house when they lived with us for a few years. And I like how they use it. They put it in their soups and rices and all kinds of things. But let me grab this book. A year or so ago, I was really making a lot of soups and different things out of this book. And in one section in here, it's the Fiber Fueled Cookbook. It said to add a piece of kelp, or what's the other name for it? It's called kombu. Sometimes you'll see it it says kombu, and it can be a really thick piece of kelp, or this seems a lot finer than the stuff I used to have. Anyways, it said in there that if you're using a lot of beans, I'll just try to get you to see my face. Here we go. Oh, there we go. He was saying in the book to put a piece of this kombu or kelp in with the beanie soup, and it helps with gassiness. Anyway, I started doing that. It adds minerals. It adds another type of that umami flavor to it. So I'm gonna throw this in, and then it gets really, it's like bay leaf, but this gets actually jelly-like and kind of mushy, feeling soft, and expands. So I always pull it out when the soup's ready. But I'm gonna throw that in there for more flavor. What else do I have here? Let me check my recipe, because I usually don't. So I've added the ginger. I'm bringing it to a boil. I've added all the veggies. And then for the flavoring, besides the ginger, all I do is add some tamari, about a tablespoon of tamari into this soup. Let me see if I can get you to see it. I'll show you how it looks. You'll have to, no, wrong way. Let's see if we can get you over there. There. You're not going to see into the pot. No, I can't see into the pot, but I'll try to slide you over soon so you can see. I just want to get this boiling, bring it to simmer because I want those veggies to cook. I'm going to put in the cabbage at that point, and then I will also chop up these guys and throw in the rehydrated mushrooms. And I'm going to put in the tamari now. Usually it's about a good tablespoon. So with all this, and then the icing on the top is the miso paste. You don't need to add any salt to this. I don't add anything like that. If you have allergies to soy, like some people do, like my daughter, you could leave out the soy paste for sure. And you don't have to add that in at all. You can add a little bit of salt and pepper. But because I'm using the miso paste, I'm not going to add any salt and pepper or anything like that. You could also put in garlic and then anything like that. And then you can have the soup instead of over tofu. You could have it over some rice. You could have it throw some beans in there, and you'll still have that kind of Asian-inspired soup without any of the soy in it, except for the tamari. I'm gonna just bring it over a little bit so you can kind of see. That's what it looks like so far. It's just about at the boil, so I am going to throw in the cabbage. I don't know, I love cabbage. I absolutely love cabbage. I want to make cabbage rolls. I haven't done that in a long time. Thinking 10, 15 years, probably 15 years. But I like the Finnish style cabbage rolls. They don't have tomato sauce. They have this kind of other, kind of almost like a gravy, not a gravy. It's a sweeter sauce, but it's brown. It's not tomato sauce. And I really like that. I prefer that over the kind of North American tomato sauce type of cabbage rolls. How is the sound, by the way, with this? Because I'm not using a mic, I'm just using the webcam mic, and I don't know how good it is. Okay, good. Thank you very much. I guess love yam. Oh, you like the orange colored ones, Simone? Yes. But sweet potatoes are sweet potatoes, like the white colored flesh. They're really good. They're really sweet. And yams, they're good. So this is now come to a boil. I'm going to let it simmer here. I'm going to let it simmer at a pretty hard boil because I do want it to cook since we're here together. Okay, now I'm going to take out these guys. Just chop them up. I'm going to put in this liquid, but because sometimes the sediment gets to the bottom, just carefully pour it in and leave the bit at the bottom out. It's a very mushroomy, cabbagey soup, very earthy soup. And these types of things, it's very seasonal eating because you're in the winter, like the fall and winter when you have mushrooms, and then you're having cabbage, which is more of a kind of a winter type thing, food that lasts. You're eating with the seasons. I don't necessarily eat this type of thing in the spring and summer as much. I'm more into the fresh salads, pasta salads, different things like that. All right, so while this is simmering, like I said, what I do with these soups is, because I'm trying to increase my protein intake, just so that it kind of reminds you of a soup like a miso soup. Let's see here. Oh, sky. Yes. Wow, it's taken off on me now. Oh my goodness. Here we go. To give it that kind of miso soup, I put the tofu in here, and it ups the protein value of the soup, which is just root vegetables and mushrooms. So you can use any tofu you have. This happens to be firm. You can use medium firm. You can use firm. And I don't do anything but drain it, cube it up, and put it in my bowl, waiting for the soup to be poured over it. So I am just going to drain this little pack. And let's bring you down to this again. Do you guys eat a lot of tofu? You can make this into whatever size you like. I never grew up eating tofu. Never had it. I don't know when I first had tofu, to be honest. I had no clue what to do with it. I use it a lot now. So I just make little cubes. I don't heat them up. The soup is boiling hot when I put it on there, so it just heats up the tofu. I save whatever I don't put into my bowl in a container and have it for the next time. Good catch. And then I will just get my bowl ready with all my tofu. I have to wipe this up again. My husband and I do eat tofu. He's not plant-based. He eats what I cook, but he definitely eats meat still too. It basically tofu, Lisa, tofu takes on any flavor you want it to take. It's basically one of these foods that acts like a sponge, and the different like the medium firm versus firm and soft, they're just a different texture. So you can have it so that has more bite to it and doesn't fall apart. And like this is the firm. It just stays cubed like this. And if you taste it, it's edible. It's plain tasting. But if you put things on it, then it definitely tastes better, obviously. But there's things like smoked tofu. I buy that and just slice it up, put it on a sandwich or toast. So there's all kinds of ways to have tofu. Let's see if these veggies are cooked. This is such a quick, yeah, it's all done. This is really, really, sorry about the sniffles. It's allergies. For me, for whatever reason, I'm having allergies year round. It's nuts. Okay. I made some notes here, so let's see what I wanted to tell you. I'm not afraid to lose. Okay. Okay, here we go. You get to see part of me. Okay, good. Oh, so the last thing, and this is something I just learned. I have been using miso. Miso is just a fermented soybean, and they make it in different pastes, but there's different ones. So I found this one, Aka and Genmo. Anyway, let me just find my information on here because I didn't know this about tofu. There's white tofu. It's the mildest, white miso has the mildest and sweet, great for soups. There's red miso, which I have here that I'm going to put in there. It's aged longer, has a deeper, more saltier umami flavor, best for hearty soups and stews, so I'll use that. And the one I just bought, the brown miso, is richer, earthier, great for deepening flavors and broths. But that's not what I learned. I knew there was different colors of it, but I didn't realize that you don't want to put it into your soup when it's simmering away. That's what I've done. What happens is, I'm going to turn it off, is that it kills it's fermented, good, healthy bacteria that's in there that you want to keep, because fermented foods are so good for your gut and for your body. So eating the fermented food like this, you don't want to kill the bacteria that's in there, the good, healthy, gut-friendly bacteria. So what you're supposed to do is just add warm water to it, just to dissolve it, and then put it into your soup. So I've never done it like this because I have always just been putting the miso paste right into the soup as it's simmering away. So I guess I've been not getting the benefits of the gut-friendly properties in it, which is unfortunate. But that's okay. So this is what it will look like. And I will put it in the soup. That's something I learned. It smells really good. You can then top this with a squeeze of lime or some sesame seed oil, something like that, green onions. And let's see. I'm going to just chop up a couple of green onions, and I'm going to show you how it can look. You can make it look nice, but I don't do this type of thing when I'm just getting ready to eat after work. No way. All right, let's bring. This is, I'll taste it for you and let you know how it tastes. So I have my tofu. Then I will grab my ladle. And put the soup here and top it with some green onions. Let's see. How do you think it looks? Yeah, so I would let it sit for a minute so the tofu warms up, and it is absolutely one of my favorite comfort foods. I will put down, like, if you're interested in the nutritional facts about this, the calorie wise, it's very low in calories. The soup, the tofu adds the protein, but you're getting a lot of minerals and vitamins with all the different sweet potato in there, the mushrooms, the carrot, and the cabbage. So you're getting a lot of good healthy ingredients in there, and then the tofu just ups the protein. So like I said, if you can't eat tofu, you can try something like beans, any kind of meat that's non-animal if you're wanting to do that. My husband would have it over his chicken. So he'd have some leftover chicken, he'd chop that up and put the soup over it. So you're getting all the healthy, good ingredients. I wanted to tell you, just if you're here watching, and then if you're watching this later, it's still available. I'm doing a 5-day mind and body reset. It's for women 50 plus, if you're interested. I'm going to start, it's a challenge that I'm going to start next week on Monday, February 24th for 5 days. It's going to be email based. You're going to get a motivational email every morning to give you the steps and the one task that you're going to do that day to improve your health and overall well-being. And we're going to have a private Facebook group that only if you want to join and have questions. I'm doing that because it's free, and just in case somebody wants to ask questions, and I'll go in there live probably once in the middle, just if anybody has questions. It's going to be email based, but you'll be able to reply to me and talk via email or in the Facebook group. And it is a paid challenge, a small amount, because I've done these in the past. In the past, I've done email challenges with my newsletter list, and it's really been fun. But I have done personally some paid ones recently. One was a storytelling one. It was great. 2 days of really fun stuff, and I wanted to learn more about storytelling, and I stuck to it because it was a paid challenge. Then I'm doing one for fitness and health in March, because as you know, or may not know, I'm getting close to 60 in April. So I want to be in the best shape I can. So I'm doing this paid challenge starting in March for 6 weeks. I just find that if you pay a little bit, you have some skin in the game. But I've always got free content here. So if you're not interested in that, that's fine too. The landing page will be in the description. And if it's not around, there'll be a wait list for the next time. Okay, this is the soup. Look at it. It's so, I'm afraid to take a mouthful right now because it's probably hot still. But it is always delicious. I love the broth. It is so good. It's like if you've had miso soup, it's like that. It is so warm and comforting and perfect on a cooler day. But I don't know, and when you're eating it, it feels like you're eating something really healthy. So it makes you feel good. Anyways, I'm going to let this cool a bit. I'm going to have it. This will be my breakfast because I haven't had breakfast yet. Do you have any questions at all? Anything you'd like to know? Oh, you're welcome, Simone. And Lisa, try the tofu. Just give it a try, but find a recipe. There's all kinds of online recipes for tofu. And you can just find something, give it a try. It'll be a new ingredient that you can use. And yams and sweet potatoes are delicious. So I'm glad that you were able to join me. I had fun cooking, and pardon the newness of all this technology, trying to let you see what I'm doing and all that is a little bit tricky at times, but I am happy to do this, and I'm glad you were able to join me for a little while. So thank you. I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.